The void stares back. The credits are rolling, the mics are recording. Gaze into the void with your hosts, Josh and Joey, as they discuss thoughts and questions surrounding visual, written, and interactive media steeped in cosmic horror.
Sure. Was all right.
Welcome everyone to another episode of The Void Stares Back.
Yeah.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Joey.
And we just watched episode 4
Who goes there?
of True Detective Season 1.
This was the most cop show
Episode. Yeah.
Yet.
Yep.
It's all right. It was fine.
Yeah, there's not a lot to talk about here, so...
All right, that's been our show. I'll see you guys later. No, yeah,
Do I even have my mic?
Nope,
I sure don't.
Okay. All right. We'll be right back.
Okay.
That's much better.
Yeah.
I was like, I can hear you, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to start over?
No.
Okay. What you hear is what you get.
Yep. We're authentic.
Yeah.
Here
Genuine.
Yeah. Just like this show is.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It makes enough sense that
Yeah.
this is the lead up. But yeah, it definitely felt like a large departure. And
Yes. Yeah, it definitely takes a turn from what they're feeding you the first few episodes.
right. Well, the reason that I'm not like that happy about this episode as compared to the others is that, like, sure, you can play around with the vibe of the show, the like analogies you're making, like to Vietnam and war and like a modern war environment or whatever. That's not why I started watching the show, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
that like the kinds of steps that you take out can definitely be done more carefully, and and it's this kind of episode that sort of like makes me think of the intent behind the show.
Yeah.
Like the writing intent behind the story, because this doesn't deliver on any of those points
Yeah.
that like we've been reading into it, you know, like so yeah, I don't know, it's not my favorite. It's definitely the least favorite episode so far.
Sure. Yeah.
As far as subject matter.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
Better than other versions of it. I like seeing Rusty in, you know, combat mode where he's just like trying to be the guy who's clearly the most competent in that environment, and then just basically saying like, okay, I don't care about these other two guys.
Yeah. No, I need to get this guy out of here because he's my only reason for being here.
Yeah, he's got the info I need, and then just loved him, just like not even taking a moment to like consider him as a human being, and just kept punching him in his face and dragging him along.
Yep.
It was pretty great.
That whole sequence too is one shot.
Yes.
Which is awesome. Like
definitely a feat.
Yeah. Yeah. From the moment they bust into the house to them driving away is all.
Yeah, it's one steady cam or whatever.
Yeah, one continuous take. Yeah, it's really cool. I love.
Yeah, that stuff is impressive. Like I always forget the name of this one, but it's the movie about how women can't get pregnant, and then one pregnant woman.
Children of Men.
Yeah,
that's
got the famous like final sequence or whatever.
Yeah,
like, near the end.
Yeah, when they're running through the city in the middle of Civil War.
15-minute.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Single shot. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the next biggest like landmark in that area was the whole movie of Birdman. Is one
I heard about that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's no relevance to this show whatsoever, but you should sit down and watch it sometime. Just as a piece of art, it's phenomenally made.
How do you do that? Like, technically speaking, like I don't know. It seems crazy.
Yeah. There's definitely a couple moments where it's cut together, but like 99% of that movie is one continuous take, and like the actors leave screen, and
when it isn't, the previous shot was one take, and that sort of a thing.
Or it's seamless, like the editing, like they'll do like a pan up to the sky and then pan back down and keep going.
Yeah.
With what's supposed to be the same shot, and
Yeah.
like that, I think very clearly it wasn't like they
Right.
just stitched it together, but
well put together.
It is so well edited in those even very few moments that exist in the whole film that it's just a work of art.
Cool.
So
yeah, no, that's always cool to see. I didn't really take a lot of notice to that because I was still trying to like pick details out and like
just
watch
engaged.
for careful moments because there were a lot of opportunities where interesting things could occur within the chaos. Like you know, he sees the kid and then he pauses. Right, he's like, okay, well, I have to deal with this in character.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, there's that like a slight moment of hesitation where he sort of, you know, for a moment, the camera. Well, I don't know about the character, but the camera is like, there are kids, and then he gets to the kid, and then he's like, looks out the window, and then he like puts him into safety, you know, and his shit's about to go down, and like the time he took to do that is not meaningless, right?
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Other than that, I thought it was fine.
Yeah. For this, there's not a lot of substance to talk about. So.
I liked the scene. I like how the whole thing is like, it's crazy undercover op and the prep, and then also the crazy shit that goes down when we're doing it, and how things get out of hand, and you know, there's a giant gunfight between cops and you know, the gang members of the opposing drug cartel or whatever exactly they were to them, to the biker gang. But the scene that I liked from this episode the most was the diner scene with Marty's wife or ex-wife or whatever. I just really like the characterization of
Maggie,
like moments, but moments of social misstep. Yeah, you know, and like when seeing how well actors convey saying something from a place of emotion and then watching their face regret it. Yeah. I like that. That's very masterful. Yeah. It's difficult to imagine being able to just do that on the spot, you know? Right, yeah. And I also like the way McConaughey just left. Yeah, he's like, I don't have to deal with this. You know, I'm not worth my... Yeah, I'm here as a courtesy, for the most part, a mediary between you two idiots, and so I'm suffering through it already, and then you say something that like brings me into it. Yeah. That, you know, is like, you know, I don't want to say not well, and it cuts really deep for him, right? Like, right. You know. Yeah, that's the implication. Yeah. Like he's just like, that was a really shitty thing to say when I'm not, and you know, don't kill the messenger, that whole thing or whatever. Because he starts off, he's like, I don't give a shit about any of this. Yeah, straight up tells Marty, I don't care. And I barely care about the kids. Yeah. You know, he and that's probably a lie from himself, but like, he justifies his lie with like, you know, evolution talk, like we're here to make kids and that's it, and that should probably be why we care, and like, so he breaks up a little bit of his own personal dogma to make that statement, and then, you know, she hits him with just a backhand of you know, a low blow or whatever, meant for Marty, I imagine. You know, that's the whole interaction. I just really like that scene. It spoke a lot without speaking anything. Yes, you know. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. After that, it was just like, you know. Yep. A little story they decided to add in the middle of the bigger picture, you know. Yeah. Well, and I told you at the end of the last episode, like, go. Guess what? It's filler. I wasn't lying. No. And I mean, it's still very relevant filler. See, the tough thing about this sort of filler is it isn't needless filler, right? Like, you know, you talk about like Dragon Ball Z, and they're like talking for an hour before they throw the first punch, and and sometimes there's episodes that just end before they even throw the punch, and like, and it's joked about or whatever. But like, this isn't that. Like this. Right. This clearly has to set up. Yeah, it maybe doesn't have to, but it's certainly a weirder workaround if they decided not to shoot this, right? Yes. If they just said it happened, or if they described a lazier way they got information.
to lead up to getting the guy
or whatever,
getting to the place.
Yeah, this is supposed to be like, we don't respect the law just to get results, and and then they just show you them not doing, breaking the law actively because McConaughey's character is used to it. He's done that sort of thing in the past. And, he hasn't had to show that except the one time he toolbox that guy in the face.
Right.
And so otherwise it's not been like, above the books or whatever. Or some phrase that makes a lot of sense for what I'm trying to convey.
I know what you're trying to say.
It's above the books.
I think so.
Something about books. There's books involved. Go to your local library.
Read some Lovecraft.
Yeah, read some. Well, maybe read some less racist narratives. But
well, sure.
Start with Emily Dickinson and work your way out.
Is that the spectrum?
No, probably
Dickinson
not.
to Lovecraft?
No, I'm sure there's some secret hidden awfulness in Dickinson's writing somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know anything about literature or movies. Why am I even on a movie podcast? Anyways, I don't have... Yeah, that's...
Welcome to episode 4 of...
Yeah, welcome back to The Void Stares Backward. In today's episode, I'll be playing the part of the Void. Devoid of any real understanding of what was going on. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else that was like worth bringing up? Kind of around the big action sequence?
I remember in some research in my own time after watching this for the first time that there's some significance to Marty telling his affair lady, there's no pageant to perform. Your disappointment is irrelevant. Those lines. And I'm ashamed to say I don't remember exactly
the relevance
to that for the rest of the story, but like I remember reading a very, very detailed breakdown of this whole show and like almost line for line and shot for shot and stuff, and like pointing out how everything fits together and creates the larger narrative and stuff.
Bow.
And that was brought up as a significant point, even though it's said very fleetingly almost,
Well, like to the layman's viewer, i.e. me, it was just there to vehicle or carry us to the suitcases.
Right.
That scene, and then, bridge that gap is like you have an awkward work relationship occur in the court scene.
Yeah.
Just to have it. Then you have that, public display of, aggression at the elevator, and then the way he handles it or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you come home to just the evidence and that's another nice storytelling thing, right? They didn't have to show us.
Right.
Her showing it.
Yeah. No.
They didn't even have to tell us. He read a note silently to himself and got, upset,
angry and
right? And then that was it. And then later at the hospital.
Yeah.
You understand exactly how it panned out, and
right.
And then all of those like maybe disjointed scenes, not really, but theoretically disjointed, all just snap together, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, that's a series of events that I can piece together. So the scene,
right,
with those particular words, didn't feel out of place as something that he might say,
exactly, but there's a relevance to like the idea of the pomp and circumstance, like the pageant to perform, and then it playing out over this larger narrative and stuff. And especially with what we just previously talked about the Yellow King,
the story
also being a play,
right?
And like,
I mean, it's also like a nice time because it's a phrase. People say that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I wish I had more of that retained. So I can talk about it at length, but I just don't. So.
I think I'd like, for the most part, the representation of the two women involved.
Yeah.
On film, because obviously there's some deeper nonsense that's like maybe set in the time, but watching the mistress basically be like, I don't have to take shit from you, you know.
Yeah.
Like, after a certain point,
Yeah.
is it's always good to see, because like
Yes. Yeah.
you don't hear, like, you think about the past and you know how women are misrepresented and treated on camera, and assume that it's like 1-to-1 with the reality of the situation. I think the difference between now and then, when you hear those moments or situations, kind of, you know, you hear them secondhand or something, it's more empowering now than it was then, right? Like, it occurred with less frequency, I'll give it that, but like, you know, for females to basically demand to be treated as equals in minor one-on-one or you know, one-on-many interactions like that, where it's just like, you don't get to continue to treat me like I'm less now, and then you watch the men reel back from being like, what do you mean you're not my property? And like, you know, and that whole shitty thing, and like, I it's nice to see the show framed in a way where it's maybe, you know, a little bit more encouraging in that way.
Right. Yes.
In situations that maybe of the time were absolutely not encouraging, you know, like isolation, you know, like any woman who stood up for herself back in the day, and even now in very particular corners of the internet, are often isolated, right? It's like, powerful woman speaks out against dickhead man, cut all ties, she gets discredited. Like, all, you know, smear campaign-esque stuff is what you see now. But that stuff happened like in real relationships back then, you know, before the internet. And they didn't spend time showing that on this. And I get that, like, the two women involved are non-main characters of the show for the most part. The wife a little bit more so than the mistress, but generally they are extensions of Marty, as like a writing vehicle for telling his path. And Marty's telling the story.
Right.
So it's relatively of his perspective.
Yes.
Which is why it's important to have McConaughey's character there, to have scenes without Marty. So you get her perspective on things from two lenses, and you can make your own personal picture of the, you know, of her side of things. And then the acting, and like us being an omnipotent viewer for the most part, it delivers more information about her, knowing that he's maybe reacting to something she's saying a particular way, like Marty, like when she is basically like, what you're saying is bullshit, and he's just like, I'm so sad because I'm 40, and she's like, that's, you know, a load of crap, or you know, I don't remember you being this stupid, and like, you know, those sorts of lines are great, and like seeing her react, like just when she's listening to his bullshit, because we know it's bullshit, and watching her know it's bullshit is always nice. But yeah, no, I thought it was cut kindly, like written kindly for that framing, because I know things don't always end up as nicely in that sort of time frame or environment as they did for us on camera here.
Right. Yep.
Well, I mean, as nice as you can make Marty's drunken outrage.
It came to me while you were talking. I'm going to go back to that statement that he makes and its relevance to the show.
Sure.
It ties in to Rust's worldview, right? There is no pageant to perform because nothing means anything.
Sure.
And your disappointment is irrelevant. Like, you're gonna die.
And
whether you care about that or not means nothing.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
It just is.
Yeah, it's an interesting lens to place over the married man and the mistress relationship, because it's like, you're the part that's expendable. In like, I'm just getting free stuff from you emotionally and otherwise, and if things had to go back, my wife is the fallback, right? Like, I have this foundation over here that maybe doesn't satisfy me anymore, or whatever, and so, you know, sneakily I sneak off in the night to seek other, you know, things I feel I'm not getting or whatever. But like the idea that he's just like, yeah, it's glass house we built out, and it's not. It doesn't matter because I still have a home. And then he comes back to his home. It's like, she made it matter,
Yeah.
And so that's a nice. It's like a being held accountable.
Right.
Which is always good to see.
Well, and it's interesting hearing that particular phrase and how that connection to the person that he thinks is crazy, but then those words come out of his mouth, and
it's like infecting him.
Yeah, exactly. It's just interesting to see. There was more to the relevance than
I think there's
than what I'm telling here, but that was one of the big
gist of
points that I
basically
remember.
what I'm getting out of this is that as much as he's like exposed to this worldview that McConaughey has, he all of the dialogue spent around it is about how he thinks that it's stupid. He's like, you're clearly off your rocker and you're a dick, and like this worldview is sort of just perpetuating how rough and not enjoyable you are to interact with as a person.
Yeah.
But the problem that Marty has with that knowledge is that there's seeds of truth like just strewn throughout it. So, you can only argue. He doesn't argue against the points ever when they talk. He always argues against the kindness that, and the sort of baggage that comes along with believing that and then wearing that belief on your sleeve, because it's not a very tasteful way to go out in public.
Right.
And he's just like, you really got to work on that. Like, I know we're partners and I'm like exposed to this against my will, but like, you got to work on that. But in the back of his head is like, it's not particularly wrong necessarily. And and so like just being exposed to it is is just kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting that there are people who pick this show apart to that level of detail. And
I want to find that article and we can kind of maybe pour over it a little bit and discuss.
Maybe we'll do a bonus episode.
Points. Yeah, I was gonna say just
I won't read it. You can prep it and I'll read it on the show maybe.
Yeah, we can discuss the points as they come across. Yeah.
And we'll talk about it.
Because it was really cool. It was a big, like...
Depends on how I feel about the series as a whole.
Sure.
But I'm still interested.
It was a blog post about season 1, but
Breaking it down.
It's just very long and intricate and
detailed.
Very well thought out. And so
cool. People are pretty crazy. Incredible.
Yeah. It's what I wish we were doing. I mean, not that we're not, but like we're definitely not hitting on some of the finer details.
Well, the format of the show is watch it, take it in, credits roll, turn the mic on, and so it's a form ripe with things slip in between the cracks.
Oh yeah, Yep. Yeah.
And it's also like the reason I want to keep doing it this way as opposed to getting into finer detail for everything we do or really specific things is that I'm more interested in where the conversation of the medium leads us to, and like, maybe less about analyzing why they did this shot.
Sure. Yeah.
For every second of the podcast, and more about like, this reminds me of how the MCU is shit. Speaking of that, tune in to the last episode where I shit all over tons and tons of popular media. No. But yeah, I think I am interested in just the sort of free flow.
Yeah. No,
discussion.
That's definitely what the idea was born out of. So
I also like the idea that I spend a half hour on this podcast being wrong and then finding that out later and then learning from it. I'm more interested in that, and then instead of being like, well, we can't hit record until I've fact checked every sentence in this detailed thing or whatever. So I'm more attracted to the two of us who don't really know the finer details of the Yellow King, but we talk like we do. Yeah, that's what this podcast is all about. Misinformation.
Yep.
I think I've blanket statemented this podcast like 5 times.
Yeah.
And what it's about.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It'll just keep changing.
Yeah, it's not about the things I said it was about before. Don't even joke yourself.
Each episode, we have a new mission statement.
For all the episodes.
Yes.
Don't think it It's not a retcon, okay? That you're gonna say that it's a retcon. It's not, all right? It's just us becoming aware of the truth as we come to it.
Yep. Our own Eldritch truth.
And the show's been canceled. I've just heard word that the show's been canceled. The powers that be, whoever they are.
Well,
yeah, I wish there was more to talk about in this episode.
That's okay that there's not. We'll have some of those. The next one, legitimately, there will be more.
Sure.
Yeah. So
He's not leading me on, guys.
I'm not at all.
The next episode is called The Secret Fate of All Life.
Yes. If I'm remembering correctly, there's some dialogue in this one that is
nice.
Yeah. Some of my favorite in the whole show. So
yeah. Cool. Well, I mean, I look forward to it because I really liked episode 3. Was that the one I liked? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. It's all blending together now.
Yep. So go watch episode 5.
Yes.
Of season 1.
We're going to be tuning in next episode here.
Yep.
Having just watched it, we're about to go in.
Yep. Gonna roll.
All right. Thanks for listening, and hopefully we'll have more to talk about.
Yep. Don't stare too long.
Or don't stop.
This episode was recorded on January 28th, 2019. Our next episode will be True Detective Episode 5, which will air January 1st, 2020. So keep an eye out for that.
And if you'd like to follow us on social media, we do have a Twitter. You can check out our podcast and other content like our video gaming Let's Plays of a similar theme on our YouTube channel. We also have a website, thevoidstaresback.com, where you can leave comments on our posts or contact us via email. And all of these links you'll find in the description and show notes below.
That was succinct. Well done. We also you can also find us online in other avenues where we are playing a live show on Twitch where we play board gaming every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Our group is called Cardboard on Tap, and we have a lot of fun playing a variety of different board games.
Yeah, it's another big hobby of ours. So if you're even remotely interested, please check it out and talk to us on there.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for listening, everyone.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.